In Earth, players will be building out their engine of growth and life. Their own little Earth will be made up of a 4x4 grid of cards. On their turn, the active player will choose one of the 4 actions to do. The active player will do the stronger top action and all other players will take the weaker bottom action. So you will always get to do something on every player's turn. The middle part here shows that you'll be able to activate all of your cards with that color banner on them. Most of the cards will have additional actions you can take when that color action is chosen either by you or by another player. So if another player chooses the red action, I will get to do the bottom action and then these 5 cards since they all have the red banner at the bottom. Note that you must activate your entire tableau and then your player board or vice versa. And when activating your tableau, you must do so in reading order, left to right, top to bottom. Let's quickly talk about the kinds of cards we have. On your player board, you will start the game with one island card which will give you your starting resources and an ability. Your climate card will give you another ability and your ecosystem card will give you some endgame scoring. Fauna cards on the central board are in-game objectives that players are racing for, and there are also 2 endgame scoring cards here that everyone will score. And finally, flora, terrain, and event cards will be cards that are in your hand that you will play during the game. Flora cards make up the majority of the deck. In the top left is the cost of the card and the money in this game is soil. This here is the points the card is worth and here is how much growth the flora can have. At the bottom is how many sprout cubes it can have and lastly is the ability. Terrain cards will often have ongoing ability or some endgame scoring. Lastly, event cards you will pay for and activate and then they will go face down onto your player board here. Let's quickly talk about some of these abilities. This ring here means that you may put 1 growth on a card in your tableau. Most flora can hold a certain amount of growth shown here. Each growth at the end of the game is worth 1 point, but if you fully grow the card, it's worth the points shown in white. This cube symbol allows you to put sprout cubes on your flora cards, and each sprout is worth 1 point at the end of the game. This symbol here is soil, which is the currency you will use to put cards into play. This circle arrow symbol is composting cards. Composted cards go face down onto your board here and are each worth a point at the end of the game. The interesting thing about this game is that growth, sprouts, and composted cards all give you points, but many of the card abilities allow you to spend them to gain other things like this American Sycamore where you will spend 1 growth for 2 sprouts. So pretty much everything in the game is both points and currency. Let's wrap up by talking about the general actions. When choosing the green action, the active player may play 2 cards and then draw 4 cards from the deck, choosing 1 to keep, and all other players may play 1 card and draw 1 card. When choosing the red action, the active player gains 5 soil and composts 2 cards from the top of the deck. All other players may gain 2 soil or compost 2 cards off the top of the deck. When taking the blue action, the player may gain 6 sprouts and 2 soil, and all other players gain 2 sprouts or 2 soil. And finally, when choosing the yellow action, the active player may draw 4 cards and gain 2 growth, and each other players either draw 2 cards or gain 2 growth. The game will end when a player finishes their 4x4 tableau. You will finish out that round and then score, and the player with the most points will win.